today we have a very special guest because he's going to tell us a lot about not only his personal experience but also help through his eyes to get to see how the Western world sees us as Arabs, sees us as Muslims in particular. We've always had so many speculations on why do Arabs have to particularly appear as, you know, a negative image, as a form of terrorism symbol in the Hollywood movies. I'm very, very delighted to have joining me here this evening Mr. Iyad Hajjaj, who is an actor, director and a producer. He's half Palestinian, half American. He had been here portraying a very interesting short feature movie at the one that finished Sharm el-Sheikh International Film Festival, and we would get this opportunity to get to know more about him, his work, his personal experiences, and of course the message that lies beneath his work. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Iyad. I'm very, very pleased.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I am delighted to be here in Egypt.
It is very important for us to, we support very much people with not just talents but with motivation and a message that they basically want to deliver to the rest of the world. And I mean the people who are educated, the people who understand the importance of clarifying our image to the rest of the world, that we should move from the the corner of being defensive to actually standing up for ourselves. I would like the viewers to get to know you better, so please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Iyad Hajjaj. I grew up in Gaza Strip in Rafah. Then I went to Bethlehem University. I studied to be a physical therapist, and then went to England to do my internship, and then came back to work as a physical therapist in Palestine. And then I decided to leave.
And you went to the States, and from there, what was your second plan then?
Well, my primary plan was to improve my life and improve my family's life financially. And I went to work as a physical therapist and did my psychology post and behavioral modification, and I did some work and was discovered by accident to be an actor.
ومين علمك السخافات هذه ها؟
انت يلا.
Yeah. Saddam. He's expecting me.
My life is a small price to pay for this. I've always been destined to be the leader of 13 Magnus. Goodbye, my friend.
It's an Arabic name. What's yours?
Sean.
What kind of name is that? Perhaps you need to know the answer to your own question before you ask it.
So tell us about this experience, and how did that make you want to shift your career to something else?
It is true that every actor is delighted to have an opportunity to work and a role in a movie or a TV. But in my case, I was very disappointed every time I was offered a role to be a terrorist, and I did decline so many roles that I thought were very degrading to my people. And from there I decided to make movies where the Arabic guy is a good guy in a movie. I started with short films, and I did several of those, and then I started co-producing films with friends, and also put the Arab in good image, and until I got to my last film, which is a fully produced film by my company, Missing Peace Pictures, and peace as in the world's peace. And I had 2 stars from America, Malcolm McDowell and Robin Givens. I was able to have a very high production value in a movie, and I won a lot of awards. Hello everyone, my name is Iyad Hajjaj. I am the producer, director, and one of the stars of Dreams I Never Had movie. Over the past month, the film has collected over 5 awards. With this amazing story, the audience tell us, and the jury of those festivals tell us, that this film will do very well.
Now let's move to the latest, and that was your participation at the Sharm el-Sheikh International Film Festival, which just ended last weekend, and it took place for the past entire week in Sharm el-Sheikh. And tell us about this experience, and what was your feature movie that was participating in that?
The film was Dreams I Never Had. It is about a family that is Middle Eastern in America, and they had to go through some, let's say, circumstances and misunderstandings of the law and how people live in a different country. Because, you know, when we have our perspective from our country and we go to a different country, a different society, we make mistakes.
Of course.
And they did make mistakes throughout the movie by doing certain things. And there's a trial, and you know, there's
legal process basically takes place. Yes,
definitely.
¿Hablas español? Damn, father, wasn't it? Inspector, get out, kill you!
It was my wife, Suzanne.
Did you or any family member ever strike the girl?
Court is adjourned.
Let's talk about how far has your short feature movies, which won several awards in particular, have had that kind of effect and impact on, you know, the Western world and how they perceive or basically view the image of Arabs/Muslims in this part of the world?
Yes, all my short films did have, you know, a lot of effect on the society that I live in. And my latest feature film, Dreams I Never Had, was very well received in different cities in America. It won Best Film in 4 or 5 festivals. It won Best Supporting Actor. It won Best Production Value. It won a lot of awards. That tells me that people in America are, you know,
aware now.
Yes.
Yes.
They love the story because the child abuse and the immigration story does not only happen with Middle Eastern families, it does happen with Caucasian families and other ethnicities. So they're watching something that they connect with. But in a very smart way, I put the Middle Eastern characters to normalize our existence in that society.
Yes.
So when people watch it, they see you as a Middle Eastern, but they don't think of you as a Middle Eastern.
Brian, wake up! Brian, wake up, they're coming!
And maybe, I don't know if you would agree or not, but you would sure know definitely how far this is close to reality. The fact that humanitarian aspect plays a very important role and touches directly onto the emotions of viewers, whoever they are around the world. And from here, I want to talk to you about the changes that had resulted after the so-called September 11 attacks. And from there, we started hearing new terms and terminologies that, you know, were new to us as an entire globe. Terrorism, terrorists, racism, get out of our country, what are you doing here? Fear of having your children play with their children, fear of, you know, being with you in one place, assuming you're going to bomb yourself out. So how have you experienced that throughout the years? And now today, how far has that clarified through artistic work? Because that's the only way people can get to know the artistic work, art, basically.
Definitely, and I did live in the States before September 11th, and I have witnessed the change. I was told many times, go back to your country on the street. I was harassed. I was, you know, made feel, feel unsafe. I sometimes didn't want to leave the house because I didn't think it was a good idea, especially the months right after September 11th. And I did start making movies about these experiences. Now, people have changed a little bit. And I moved to Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is a very diverse city where people are all foreigners. Whether you come from a different state or you come from a different country, you are a foreigner to that town. And people are more tolerant and more loving, per se. So I feel much better today than 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Now, what I understood from you is that you do a lot of condensed work. You're not only a producer / director, you're also acting role in your feature movie. Tell us about this sort of mixture of a one-man crew. How much pressure does that put on you? The kind of responsibility that comes along with it, and how do you cope with doing those 3 different jobs basically together?
Well, it's very difficult, and it's not a one-man crew for when I make movies. I have 40 people working behind me, but again, to control the material and control the story, I have to be those. I have to be the producer, and I have to be the director, and I have to be the actor. Well, acting is passion for me. I love doing it. So I want to make that movie that I can, control material. And in the independent cinema, in any part of the world, you struggle. You struggle to have material. You struggle to have money. But then you do it for passion.
What about the inspiration that you get? Whereabout actually do you get this inspiration of, I want to tackle this story, I want to do it this way, and being the actor, the producer and director, this is the expected outcome. How do you balance this sort of equation or ratio?
I live in America, and I talk to the American society with my movies, so I try to check their taste. Every some years, people change their taste. Now they're more into animation, more into action. Horror now is a big thing in America in the movies. So, I speak to them with their language and the things they like, but I still put my messages inside my movies.
I mean, why don't I give you a lift? You sure? I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
By the way, my name is Muhammad.
I'm Billy.
You think you come to our country and steal our oil? We are not a gas station. And this is all I have to say now.
Where do you see yourself for a couple of years from now? Now I'm sure you have an agenda or a plan set for yourself. The targets that you've achieved, and what is your next stage? Where do you want to go further from there?
Continue working to improve the image of Arabs or Middle Eastern, because I just finished a script before I came to Egypt. It's an action thriller film, a home invasion film, and I am speaking to Nicolas Cage people to hopefully play a part in the movie, because I want many people to see an Arab guy who is a hero in the movie, because my next movie, also the hero is an Arab guy who defends his family, his American family, and his kid, and, get rid of this intruder. So we're going to have a beautiful movie that speaks to the American audience and the audience of all the world. Action thriller is big now. So we're going to make that movie and have the story.
That's
and
very
have the message.
Well, I'm really excited. I'm sure everybody else who's a fan is going to be also more excited, looking forward to see if good luck with that.
Good morning, students. I said good morning. My name is Amir Murad. You can call me Mr. Murad, and I will be your new Algebra 2 teacher.
Murad? What kind of name is that? Yeah, what kind of name is that?
It's an Arabic name. What's yours?
Sean?
What kind of name is that?
Perhaps you need to know the answer to your own question before you ask it. It's in fact an Irish name, but since this is a mathematics class, let's move on. Do you guys know that the person that invented algebra was Arabic? His name was Jabir, and it was named after him.
Great. Now we can blame the Arabs for algebra too.
I want to also talk to you about something else concerning, the path that you like to take when you're tackling issues? Because it seems to me that they all fall along the social line. Are you from the type of directors who is cautious to put in or jot in a political message of some sort?
I try to stay away from politics. I do art, and I love to send my messages through art. It's social issues that I discuss. Social issue. Maybe people will say, "Oh, it is political because you're discussing Middle Eastern people being treated, differently in America."
No, that's the first thing that will come to the mind, of course. Yes.
But it's not really. I put Middle Eastern people, actors or characters in the movie, and they are normal people.
The people exist, by the way, for the rest of the world. I mean, you put Indians, for instance, or agents, and you don't really see the world like that when you want to discuss about the human part of life, right? So it doesn't really matter where you come from.
Yeah, especially in America. We are a pot. We are a mix of all things. So we try to put all of that. And I discuss social issues, social problems that happen in every house of all colors in America.
Please put the football away, Patrick. What answer do you have?
Sorry, dude. Didn't do it. Football practice.
My assignments and homework come before those activities of yours. Or should I call your parents?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
You said you would do something about children or defending a family. So from here, of course, came up the idea of, well, what about the role of women? Are you planning to possibly expose the true image of Arab women to them? Because to them, Arab women are like, when I have visited so many countries, they would really give me those shocking comments of, oh, you're that old and you're not married, you don't have 10 kids, you've been abused, circumcised, you're working, you're not veiled. I don't know where they get this from. It's a bit difficult. I'm like, we are in 2018. We definitely don't use camels. We don't live in tents anymore, and we are women. So that kind of thing is very important because they take these issues very seriously.
True. I mean, it is the stereotype and the propaganda that we see on TV all the time, that they think of Arab women as oppressed, as weak, as forced to wear the veil sometimes. They have no say. And I told them, hey, Arab women are stronger than American women. Arab women are more free. They go to work. They do things. They carry a family. They're very powerful. And
they're powerful in the family. Never underestimate the opinion of a wife, an Arab wife, or a mom.
I agree.
Especially educating her kids during exam times. Flying slippers. We are the only one who came up with that. Yeah, never understand. It's very interesting also for me to know from you. I mean, having friends or colleagues or communities, seeing your work, how has that changed your friendship and your relationship with the community surrounding you in the United States?
It hasn't changed. I
was really hoping you wouldn't say that, but there it went. Yes. Well, hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. No, they respect me as an artist because as an Arab and as a Muslim, I just behave the way I should behave with people, and they like me regardless. Even though I put Arabs in a good message, even though I fight for our rights as Arabs, but in a very diligent way, in a very respectful way. I don't yell at people. I don't curse them. I don't tell them you're wrong. You have your opinion. I have mine, and we respect each other as artists. So yes, maybe some people don't like what I'm doing, but who cares?
From now on, I'll be showing you ways to do math that you have never seen before. We'll be covering rings, grooves, and fields, other than ratios and forums. From now on, I expect you to spend time every night preparing and studying. And maybe, just maybe,
I'm sure, Mr. Iyad, that you have been following up on the Arab artwork that has been released during the past couple of years, say it's cinema, drama, short featured films as well, which are quite successful at this part of the world now. But the quality of the content and how far is it addressing other people living in other parts of the world, your personal self-evaluation as an artist, as a director, as an actor towards these kind of work?
We have so many people that can do beautiful things here.
As in talent, you mean?
Yeah, talent and crew. Camera movements and directors, and I was very happy with the work. And when I watch a series, I'm not just watching
Of
people
course.
talking.
This is the problem with anybody
Yes.
working in the media, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not into this kind of job, but technicality is part of what
Right.
I've been teaching.
Right.
And so I can't help myself, but when I see something, the camera
Right.
movements and the light thing, and some things that other normal, ordinary people won't
Right.
really post. So yes, you're talking about that we are quite advanced with the technicalities, the use of technology, and human resources who are
And
using that, and talent. The quality of issues that have been discussed, are they the same?
I watched some movies. No. When I watched in the 80s and I watched in the 50s and the 70s, or I wasn't there, but when I watched those movies, yeah, I wasn't there.
So now we know
I'm
how
not
old
that
you are,
old.
Mr. Iyad. Okay.
No, but I really enjoyed the richness of the content and material. Today, a lot of movies are highlighting Arabs as bad people.
Isn't that strange? I mean, that's exactly why I asked you this question, because
Right.
we have people on this side of the world really criticizing that fact. I mean, we are sort of giving the bad image of
Right.
ourselves to the rest of the world.
And remember, it's
And then we
true.
want them to clarify our image, but this is what you actually bring out.
I did notice that, and your kids, your teenagers are watching these movies. You're creating criminals. Psychology. I did some psychology work, so you are helping create criminals. Because if the cool guy has a knife and stabs somebody, and he's cool and he's the hero, then that kid watching is gonna think, oh, I'm gonna be like that. That's my hero. No, I want my hero to be a doctor and a guy who saves his family from the bad guys. So I hope that the cinema and the movies go back to those rich
The
stories.
ethics part, the ethical part of living alongside in a peaceful atmosphere that basically respects law, right? And
Right.
that's where the funny question comes.
Right.
Your evaluation to the U.S. or the Western kind of movies, dramas, and series. Do you think that now they are shifting their artwork more towards ethics, where we're shifting? It's like, we're anti-polarizing directions.
You know what?
Do you sense that?
There is some truth, into that, but they still, even the Western world, they have the box office mentality, and people want to see action and they want to see bad guys in the movies. So still, a lot of I can speak of the American, environment when it comes to movies, and you see the effect of that. We see a lot of mass shootings in schools, kids, teenagers. Where did they learn that? They learned that from the movies. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the Arabic movies. I call to all filmmakers, please be careful. Don't teach our kids to be bad guys thinking that this is cool. Because, it can be really negative and bad on the society, in the years to come.
From here, I also want to ask you a certain question. I know that art and imagination and creativity has no limits. The sky is basically the limit. So, and any limitation would be considered, restraining one's freedom from expression. But again, there's a very thin line between freedom and between, what's right and what's wrong. So in this case, what kind of regulations, laws, or legislations that should be done or should be applied, whether here or there, to sort of justify and put things aligned into the right context to ensure that generations do not take that as a role model and start implementing it, making it part of their daily life, like the mass shootings, for instance.
Right. Well, I don't think laws and regulations are the solution to this. I think education and ethics, and every filmmaker has to carry a message on their back and say, okay, I want to do something good in the world. I want to make money, but I can make it, while doing something good in the world. I don't think, artists don't like to be constricted. They don't. We don't like somebody to say, hey, don't do that, don't go there. Let me be free. But I hope that directors and filmmakers, on their own, see what's happening in the society and say,
But do you think that people who actually are the ones who make profit, these people, or give profit to these people, would want to see something that is good? I mean, would you open up an article and read it unless the headline is really catchy and sleazy and, you know, unethical? You wouldn't, right?
Well, the money people always want to make more money.
I mean, we're curious by nature, so as human beings. So.
Right, they want to make money, and they want what sells. But we can change what sells, and the movie industry is a fashion. We change the fashion every 10 years or 15 years. So let's say if we all decide to make movies about social issues and put some action in it, or something that people will be interested to watch, it will make money.
Have you thought of cooperating or co-joining somebody from this part of the world, you know, a producer, production house, director, to sort of make something on a bigger scale level that would be reflected internationally as well? Have you thought about that as part of your plan?
I'd love to, and I'm very open to anyone that want to discuss and open any discussion about that. I did have some meetings this week, and I did push my stay for a week to do that, meeting people and see how they think. It's a little different between here and there when you do business, and you really need a lot more than a week to understand how people think and come with...
Wait till you start implementing it. It's going to take forever. Business is part of our culture.
Things are slower, yes. Things are slower. Business is not conducted the same way, but at least if we share the same goal, and we can execute later on. But yeah, I did start, and I'm hoping that we can do something together.
My final question is, and unfortunately our time is almost up, what do you have as dreams that you feel that you still need to accomplish?
I can speak of the American culture where I live and my kids live. I hope that we reach a point where everyone in America looks at each other and only see a soul, a human being, and not see a color, ethnicity, a language, or you know, a race. I want all of us to melt into one pot and just be a mix of beautiful cultures and beautiful things that came together and made one culture and just live their life.
That's a beautiful dream, and we do hope, because that way, you know, humanity is going to really matter, and the world would be a much more safer, peaceful place to live in, right? And then we don't have to sell weapons to anyone, hopefully. Mr. Iyad Hajjaj, Palestinian-American actor, producer, director, thank you very much for joining me. That was a lovely episode. Good luck, of course, with your future work, and I hope that one day, you know, that kind of image would, as you said, just eventually disappear, that negative image that they have.
Hopefully, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And that brings us to the end of our episode, ladies and gentlemen, to Zoom in this evening. I hope that you had enjoyed it, got to know more about young talents who are trying so hard to make a difference in this world. It's not just about profit making or being famous or going international. Some people really live their entire life working so hard to try to make a difference. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International.